Good morning, First Baptist Carlsbad family. Pastor Howell here with a daily word of encouragement. It is Monday, May 11th, 2020. I hope you're having a great day today, and just a beautiful day outside, and good to be with you again this morning. I don't know about you, but sometimes I need a laugh. I know as we're going through this coronavirus pandemic, all that's taking place. Laughter has been few and far between. But have you ever sent out a text or a message, maybe on Facebook or through your phone, and you've used your voice, and that has been transcribed, and before you actually saw what was corrected, maybe the autocorrect, you hit send or enter, and the message went out, and before you know it, you look down, and uh, whatever you said, that voice technology completely changed not only the word, but the complete meaning of what you were trying to do. Well, I've done that before. I'm sure you've done that before. I actually got a Facebook message. It was a group message that was sent out this morning. And I looked on that message, and someone had used sort of voice to message. And before they realized it, the message had changed one key word. And I looked at that word and I thought, I'm not going to repeat what it was, but it was just so hysterically funny because it was a complete wrong word. The message was not what the sender had intended, but I got such a laugh out of it. I mean, I laughed out. I was in my office, but just couldn't help but laugh out loud. Have you ever had those experiences? And several folks responded to that message and said, I needed that this morning. I don't know about you, but I needed that laugh this morning on this Monday as we begin sort of a new week. I hope that you can find things to laugh at in this world, even in the midst of this pandemic, because there is a time for every activity, everything under heaven. In fact, King Solomon, the wisest man apart from Jesus who ever lived, reminds us in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 that there is a time for every event. And indeed, beginning in verse 1 of Ecclesiastes chapter 3, Solomon writes, "There is an occasion for everything, a time for every activity under heaven, a time to give birth and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and yes, Baptist, it's in the Bible, and a time to dance, a time to throw stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to avoid embracing, a time to search and a time to count as lost, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace." As Solomon writes that, particularly in verse 3, there is a time to laugh. And it's often been said that laughter is the best kind of medicine. And well, Solomon put it this way in Proverbs chapter 17, verse 22, "A joyful heart is good medicine." We need joy. We need a cheerful heart. We need laughter, even in the midst of the circumstances of life that we're going through. And because I believe that God created us with that ability to laugh. And if you want to know that God has a sense of humor, tell him your plans. Indeed, so many people, including churches, had plans for 2020, the 2020 vision. And yet, I believe that God has a great sense of humor, even in the midst of the difficulties that we are going through. I needed that laugh this morning. Maybe you need that laugh today. What we're going through, to be sure, is no laughing matter. What folks endure every single day in the challenges of life, just in a fallen world with sin and a real spiritual enemy that we face each and every day. But to understand that we can have joy, We can have a cheerful heart. We can continue to laugh, most especially laugh at ourselves for the silly things that we do. And when we hit enter or send on a text message or a Facebook message that we simply should not have sent out because it was the wrong word. I hope you can find laughter today. I hope you can find a cheer. And most of all, I hope you can find joy and to know ultimately that the joy of the Lord is our strength. And so whatever we face today, might we face it with joy, might we face it with a cheerful heart, and might laughter today be the best medicine for your life and for my life. Hope you have a great, blessed day in the Lord. We'll look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. God bless.